Hello and welcome. Thanks a lot for tuning in. My name is Victor Thorpe. I'm a professional speed skater and a very active cyclist. I've been to 2 Olympic Games, ranked 5th at one of them, and I'm a World Cup medalist. My daily life, I'm a professional skater, but trust me, I bike 15 to 20 hours every week in order to improve my aerobic capacity and to some extent my anaerobic capacity. I've been testing HVMN's Ketone-IQ product, their ketones supplements, for the last 2 months, and more interestingly, especially for this one video, I've used them for an FTP test. And I've also done an FTP test right before with enough rest, of course, to make them fairly comparable. 2 FTP tests, one with the ketones and one without them. I used my Grassport device that measures muscle oxygen, a nice little sleeve around the thigh to simply measure muscle oxygen, and I used their test protocol. So it's a classic FTP test, step by step, where I increased my wattage by 20 watts every 4 minutes until I reached the point of exhaustion. In my case, that was 440 watts. I've been using the ketones and I track much more than just the FTP here. But of course, this video is going to be about those specific results from those 2 tests that I did in order to compare them. What I have noticed is that over the course of a week, there is a massive difference. Been able to conclude that I've tracked all my stats for the last 3-4 years. And when I'm on the ketones, my general wattage, the average wattage for the week with the same heart rate in my aerobic zones, so what we call zone 1, zone 2, is about 10 to 15 watts higher with the ketones for the same muscle oxygen and for the same heart rate. I believe this to be thanks to the enhanced recovery in between workouts. In addition to that, I have a 5 to 7 higher HRV as I sleep with the same training plan when I use the ketone. So there's definitely a huge benefit when it comes to recovery, but what is the actual difference if you do an FTP test? How will ketones affect you when you get into those anaerobic training zones? That's what I set out to test here. The first test that I did without the ketones, if we look at my aerobic numbers, they're all right for this time of the year. And then you can see my my anaerobic numbers as well, even up to the VO2 max. The interesting part is when we compare those to the numbers we have here. When I did the FTP with, or the testing with the ketones, we will notice that actually the higher the intensity is, the more I improved having the ketones in my system, having that additional fuel in order to spare my glycogen for when I really needed it at the end of the test. And I do believe that's the reason that we see that the bigger improvement actually in the anaerobic zones, even though ketones mostly been known to be an aerobic fuel for ultra events. Well, here's the proof that it's almost the opposite, or at least that it benefits in all the different training zones. So by sparing that glycogen in the early stages of a test or of an event, I have that additional fuel when I need it at the end. So looking at the aerobic zones, we only see an improvement of 2 watts here in the beginning of it, but then when we move on to the zone 4, we see 5 to 6 watts of a difference, and then in the VO2 max, the zone 5 here, we see 6 watts. That, to be honest, is a pretty wild improvement simply by taking ketones prior to the test, without including all the benefits of the faster recovery, the day-to-day better recovery, and enhanced sleep. So this is pretty mind-blowing. And again, this is just a single effort. I am pretty certain that if we were to do it over and over, the ketones would have an even bigger effect. So that's very interesting. After seeing these results, I did talk to HVMN. They gave me a discount code of 30% that I get to share with all you guys if you're interested in trying out ketones, the Ketone-IQ supplement for yourself, and see what the effect would be. I am also very curious to hear if any of you have already experimented with ketones with HVMN's product. Then please leave a comment below. I would love to hear how you experienced it and in which ways you felt that ketones helped you in your performance or just in your training. If you have any more questions on HVMN, on ketones, or on how to use a Grassport device in order to track your FTP and your training zones, feel free to leave a comment below, and I of course will make sure to come back to you with a good answer on that. I just hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. I hope it gave you some knowledge or at least some inspiration to try out ketones yourself and to maybe try and track your progress as an athlete, whether it's a cyclist or whether you are a skater. My name is Victor Althorp. I appreciate your time here. Hope you want to leave a like or comment or just subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for next time. Bye bye.